Are you here to listen to El Numero Uno? Or are you here to listen to the American Kaiju? From the land of the rising sun, you're listening to the Osaka Saint, the Saitama Superstar, the Mad Titan of Tokyo, the American Kaiju. Welcome to the Hogscast Red and Black. Welcome back, Hogs Pack. This is a very special episode of the Hogscast Red and Black. As you know, Hogsman Podcast is celebrating the 1 year anniversary of when this all got started. Join with me today and always and forever, as long as this is on Zoom, especially, is NPA, not producer Adam, otherwise known as the less rich Conrad Thompson. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing great, and it is now known as the Hogscast OG.
Hogscast OG. Okay, great.
Yes.
I'd ask you how your weekend was, but I don't give a shit. So we'll just move on. Oh yeah, Big Duke can't make it this week, but Mike's supposed to join the Zoom call later on, right?
About 20 minutes in.
20 minutes in. Fantastic. For those of you that aren't familiar, might not be, the Hogscast Red and Black is going to be a weekly podcast, short of an addendum. We're only going to go about 10 to 30 minutes. So if we go short today, Mike's going to miss his call time, unfortunately. But this being the 1 year celebration, even though I can't be there in person right now, I did want to thank a couple people over the last year that have made this possible, starting with El Numero Uno. Isn't it fitting? Mike Camden came up with this idea one day after training, brought his phone and said, Dev, we're going to do a podcast. I said, what the hell are we doing a podcast for? He goes, fuck it. Let's do it about our us traveling up and down the road. Let's promote our shows. And that's how this all got started. We started basically just talking about road stories, what matches we had upcoming, how our match we just had went, training, things like that, and became a promotional tool. Obviously, the pandemic hit and the rest is history. We just ended up recording every single week, even when I couldn't be there, whether it was for, a COVID close call where you're staying home getting tested. Mike was still there, recording every week with guests or with Adam. So without Mike, none of this would have been possible. Number two, Level Up Pro Wrestling School, for allowing us to use the space after our practices and training. B-Boy allowed us to use the space and record. And if it wasn't for that, we probably would never have a podcast to begin with, which leads into the next one. B-Boy, again, he ran the school, or still does run the school, gave us the time and the space to use. And on top of that, he was always generous with his time with us and did a couple podcasts, which actually led to some of our highest rated episodes. So appreciate B-Boy. Ted Woods, who was our first producer for the podcast, helped us get up set up with the Instagram, Twitter page, YouTube channel, introduced video, made the thing a little more professional than we were taking at the time, and helped us to get our shit together. And obviously NPA, who stepped into his shoes and took over pretty seamlessly. Thank you, Adam, or cheap Conrad Thompson. You're the Sam's Club Conrad Thompson. Is that okay?
That's great. I
Or you
do
could
what
be
I can when I can do it.
Or you can be the select choice Conrad Thompson. It's up to you.
I don't really know the difference.
Okay, there we go.
I don't buy in bulk.
Dominic Mysterio, who helped keep our ratings up and helped us pay the bills. He did a couple episodes with us, but his first one I think was our massive ratings the first time he came in.
Who did he ever beat?
Who did he ever beat? Got us some new subscribers. All of the guests that we've had over this last year, Yuma we had on a couple times, Hammerstone, we had Destro, Heather Monroe, the first lady of the Hogsman Podcast. Robin Shaw was just there the last 2 weeks, even though I wasn't there. B-Boy again, and then all the listeners of the podcast this last year who've supported us by liking, subscribing, leaving reviews, buying t-shirts from ProWrestlingDees.com/American Kaiju or whatever Mike's was. You can also still follow us Support us that way. If you haven't yet, support us by following us at Hogsman Pod on Twitter or Instagram. And is it just Hogsman Pod on YouTube?
Hogsman Pod everywhere.
Hogsman Pod everywhere. If you didn't catch us last week or you don't remember, we are on YouTube. This show that we're doing right now is on YouTube. You can see NPA's beautiful face staring back at mine. I'm freezing my ass off in 2 jackets in a garage right now in San Jose. Well, it's 30 degrees and pouring rain outside. So, yeah, watch us. I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't. My voice isn't that great to listen to. My face isn't much better, but at the very least, you have Adam still.
$1 million face, 10-cent body.
Me or you?
Doesn't matter.
I'm the body guy, so I'm going to go with you. But
that is something that happened to you this year. You became a body guy.
I did become a body guy.
Year.
That's one of the things. Oh, shit. I just realized what we're doing next week. Can you write this down? I don't want to forget. We're doing the Dundee Awards for the Hogsman podcast next week. That's what we're doing. Shit. Maybe it'll have to be 2 weeks out because we'll have to do nominations.
Yeah, we'll announce the nominations next week.
Something to think about. By the way, I got my microphone fixed. So you've got the good mic instead of the crappy one from last time.
You sound great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. How do I look?
You look.
You hesitated. You hesitated.
I gotta be very quiet about how I feel about that.
Really? Because I heard you complimenting
this
Mike
is in public
the whole time. Oh, okay, that's true.
Mike, I have to. Legally, I'm obligated to say a few nice things about Mike Camden.
You say far more than a few nice things.
I mean, I compliment.
Far too complimentary. Yeah.
Okay.
It gets uncomfortable.
Should I be more mean to him?
Yeah, I would. I would try that.
Yeah. You're just bitter because I buried you on the pod this week.
You did bury me on the podcast. And the worst part is, see, if you were a better producer, but I realize you're not the producer. You're not producer Adam. If you were a better producer, you would have hit the gong and hit, oh yes. But where was that? You had the crowd responding and everything. They were eating out of the palm of your hand, buddy.
That's all I needed. I don't need sound effects. I got the genuine reaction from the audience, including a WWE superstar who laughed at my joke.
He laughed at your joke.
That's all I needed.
He didn't laugh at your 10-cent body?
No. I mean, he probably did after he left. He's probably like, God, that piece of crap.
There was one more person I didn't get to thank. Steel Cage Radio. We partnered with them shortly after we got started. No,
I don't say nice things about Derek.
Oh, that's right. Okay, Derek.
I punched him in the face this past year. It was
you did punch him in the face at a show. But Steel Cage Radio, the company, when we partnered with them middle of the year or early into last year, it helped us really reach new listeners, new subscribers, and that was awesome. It was good. So thank you, Steel Cage Radio. I know it's very difficult.
He hates me. I don't know why. I try to be nice to him.
You look like you're sitting in a sour fart right now. That face that you just made.
No. Maybe I am.
Maybe you are. Maybe it's a wet fart. Who knows? So this week, we're typically going to cover one topic per episode. This one, because we're celebrating the 1 year anniversary, I figured I'd cover a few things and then we'll go into the questions that you had. That was on the what are you calling it now? Hogsman OG.
Hogscast OG. Just like this is the Hogscast Red and Black.
Hogscast Red and Black. So we might have to get a Hogscast OG shirt now in the NWO theme.
Yeah, and by the way, Mike had different names he thought, and then I said Hogscast OG because in my head I was like, that's a name Mike would love. And I saw the look on Mike's face, and he loved it. I was like, I get him a little better now.
Okay, all right, fantastic. I have to tell you what I've done this last week. I'm 33 years old. Okay, so I'm no spring chicken, but I'm not out of it just yet. I'm not in retirement stage. Adam, did you know? You can play Pokemon online?
Like the Pokemon Go?
Like, no, not Pokemon Go. You can play the card game online.
No, I was never into that. But I didn't know it existed.
Okay, so when I was a kid, when I was growing up, I was totally into the Pokemon thing. When I was like 11, 12 years old, I was selling Pokemon cards like people sold drugs.
You and every other kid in America back in that time period.
Oh, no, I had a scheme, okay? I would go into the local store that sold Pokemon cards. I would purposely follow in. I'd stand out in front, like I'm dealing drugs. I'd follow in the parent and the kid that were walking in the store. I'd walk over to the counter, listen to them ask for a Charizard that cost $300, and the parents would go, "Look, I know I told you if you got straight A's, I would buy you a Pokemon card. I'm not spending $300 fucking dollars on a Pokemon card, okay?" And then the kid's like, "Yeah, you promised, you promised." And the parent drags him out. Okay, let's go. We'll go talk about it. We'll go talk about it. They walk out of the store. Well, I'd go out there first because I already saw this happen a million times. They get to the front of the store to have the conversation because the salesperson's like, "Would you like to pay $300 now?" And they're like, "No, I need to talk to my kid first." So I'd be waiting out there, listening to them talk to their kid. And I'm like, "Oh, a Charizard? Yeah, I don't know, man. I wouldn't pay $300 for it either. I actually have 3 of them here, and I'd be willing to part with one of them for $200, or this one's $175. I'm feeling generous." And I would do that all day long, every weekend, and make a fuck ton of money. I don't even know what I did with the money. I think I just bought more Pokemon cards. Or who leaves an 11-year-old at a store all day on a Saturday anyway?
You were born for the wrestling business.
I was carny as fuck before I knew what carny was, dude. I'm telling you. So yeah, I played Pokemon Go with my daughter this summer, try to keep her entertained during quarantine because obviously everything was closed down. But she got into Pokemon. She saw it on Netflix a couple times, and then my buddy had told me that he was teaching his kid math through playing the Pokemon card game. I asked him to show me, and they showed me the online one, and now I'm obsessed with it. I'm furious because I used to play this game all the time as a kid. I haven't played it in, I don't know, what, 20 years or something like that. 20 years?
Probably longer.
I haven't played Pokemon in 20 years, 21 years, something like that. And now I've been up at night grinding on this fucking game until like 12:30 to 1 in the morning, just playing Pokemon. It's the worst thing in the world. It's terrible.
You sound like you need a life.
I do need a life, but my life starts at 9:30 when my wife goes to bed and ends at 1:30 when I go to bed. So there we go. Also got a new home gym. I'm very excited about that. I haven't been able to go to a gym this entire pandemic. I know some people. What's that face?
Well, I'm laughing because California opened back up in the last couple of days, and now you have a home gym.
Oh, no. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
No, but I've been saying typical Devin Sparks.
I know.
Right when you get a gym, you are now able to go to a gym again, which is funny to me.
I know. It's my luck is the worst fucking luck in the world. But I've been trying. We didn't have space in the condo we were at to have a home gym.
Yeah.
My wife, because we have people in the family that are elderly and susceptible to, this type of thing. You have to be extra cautious around them. Going to a gym was not on the agenda. So now I've got a whole gym. So this whole body guy thing is going to get kicked up to another level. That's all I'm saying. I got bench, I got squat, deadlifts, you name it. Everything here. You don't have to wait.
Can't wait.
That's actually where I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes of the show. I'm going to be doing this for you.
Oh. Where's the end button?
No. That we're recording that. We're live, pal.
By God.
Pro wrestling tees. Okay, so I promised last time on the first episode here, we're gonna have the brand new Hogsman Pro Wrestling Tee store. We've been trying to do this for a long time. As of right now, you can only get the Hogsman shirt on prowrestlingtees.com/American Kaiju. But now, Adam, can you pull up the page for us here?
Yeah, let me do that for you right now.
And you can see these. You can see these shirts again.
Oh,
what is that?
That's Michael Camden.
If you go to the YouTube channel, this is just Mike Camden shirtless punching a punching bag. That's wearing short shorts. Unbelievable.
Is this a thing?
This is a thing. By the way, in some of the matches that he was posting online for Level Up, he was still wearing a shirt. What's that about? So he gets naked and punches a punching bag at this boxing gym, but then he wrestles with all his clothes on.
Good point. Before we move on, I would like to say that to everyone who is going to be watching the GCW 24-hour show this weekend,
thank you.
We are an official sponsor. I don't know when any of that's going to happen, but we are an official sponsor. So hopefully that will lead to some shirt purchases and publicity for the podcast, which will lead them to here.
And here for the first time ever, I'm announcing it. I will be on the card in the main event in the new pro wrestling tees. Adam? No? Okay, I'm not on the card. I am not in the main event.
I just spoke with Joey Janela, and you are not booked.
I just get this just in. That's bullshit. Huh, interesting. Thanks, Joey. So I will not be wrestling on that. But yeah, please watch GCW. Please support the Hogsman. You can also support the Hogsman and Level Up, who I'd mentioned earlier on IWTV for the shows that they're running. Again, they also started the day I left town. Thank you very much. But the Hogsman Pro Wrestling TV store, I had some issues with it in the setup process. One of my shirts on the American Kaiju account is called the Hogsman shirt. Well, when I tried to load the URL for the new Hogsman store, I had it as Hogsman, obviously. They said that there's conflicting results there because if I were to use Hogsman, it would take you to just the t-shirt. So I tried to get the t-shirt removed. My account got locked due to not being able to log in enough. So as of right now, if you want the shirts, they should be up later this week under prowrestlingtees.com/the Hogsman. I want that by the end of the week to be just Hogsman.
Yeah. Well, as long as they get up by the 29th, that's really all that
matters. They'll be up by the 29th, but it'll be under /the Hogsman. So if you want one of the new shirts, I don't know. There's a ton of shirts. We show you go watch the episode from last week or check it out on IG. And that's it. Those are the things that I wanted to talk about before before you went into the questions.
Yeah.
The viewer listener questions from the year anniversary.
So we're not going to go through all the questions because some of the questions were specifically for Hunter, specifically for Mike, not really things that Devin can answer. So we're really only going to go through a couple of them that Devin could probably give a good answer for. So I'm going to start off with Fao.
Okay.
Who is a photographer and very good, very talented. Took a lot of promo pics.
Fantastic.
I was out in Arizona. I saw him take some pics, and I've seen very good. So check him out at Foul Footage Photography with all F's to start on Instagram. And he asked, Devin, when was the last time you felt you had a new lease on life?
That's an easy one. That one I would agree with. I listened to the podcast yesterday with Hunter on there. Hunter had mentioned, the second he had his kid and made him take a step back and look at everything. That was the same for me. The second I had a kid in the world, it's like, holy shit, everything is brand new. Everything is different. Everything is changed. It's not just, you out for yourself. And it was almost to the opposite extent. I know Hunter had mentioned that it was about wrestling and making wrestling happen. And he was like, I just need to make sure something happens. Like, what needs to happen? She needs safety, shelter, consistency. How can I do those things? So my mind turned into like, it actually shifted away from wrestler mode and into dad mode. It was, I need a house.
At that point, I believe they were around the same time you did an interview with SoCal Uncensored, where you talked about how you were retiring mostly because of your daughter being born. Also, you had
that was a big. I had a big concussion that the effects lasted like way too fucking long for comfort. And I remember. Kid, and my kid was just like, I'm not wrestling. This doesn't make any sense. I took over a year off. Before I came back for my next match, in which I won the Zealot Pro Championship, I believe. I think that was my first show back. Anyway, so that was it. Having a kid, man, changes absolutely everything.
All right. Let's see. The big guy 87 says, in this year that you did the podcast, what episode has been your favorite to record and why? The second part of that question is, who has been your favorite guest and why?
Favorite to record and why? Yeah. And then favorite guest and why? Favorite guest was Yuma. I'm gonna agree with Mike on that. We had Yuma on twice. The guy is just a funny guy. He's like Mike said, willing to be the butt of his own joke or anyone else's joke for that matter. Super knowledgeable about the wrestling business. He's done absolutely fucking everything. Wrestled in Japan, wrestled in China, wrestled for what did he wrestle for? PWG for a long time. He did some stuff for Impact. He was a producer for a long time, had some phenomenal ideas at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Good dude, loves nerdy shit, makes his own toys. You can talk if you like nerdy shit, you could talk to him about anything and he knows the answer. He's currently online right now touting Team Kong for Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong, whatever that's called. So he's just fucking awesome. That was my favorite guest. Favorite episode to record. It wouldn't have been one of those because those weren't in person. Favorite episode to record was just early on recording in Level Up Studios because that's when we were getting used to everything. Nothing was closed down yet. There was no pandemic. You could get a good training session in and come sit down, and you had matches to talk about that were coming up that week, or you had just finished 2 matches the week prior and you could talk shit about them, or give someone a hard time. So that was where my favorite episodes were, just recording early on at Level Up Studios.
Okay. And so let's go to the next question. If you could have anyone appear on a future episode, who would you want? That's from Mixed Mutt on Instagram.
Vince McMahon. Easy. Anyone, it would be Vince McMahon. I can't. Has he been on a podcast? If he has, I haven't listened to it.
He was on the Stone Cold Steve Austin
podcast. Yeah, but imagine him on a stupid indie tag team dick joke podcast. Like, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see him talking to one of his biggest stars ever that made him more money than God. I want him talking to a stupid group of indie wrestlers whose name is the Hogsman, and I want to hear him. What was the Hogsman? What does that have to do with, pal? You tell me. What is a Hogsman? Yeah, what's a Hogsman? And then just like, listen, I'm asking you the questions. Vince, you ever shit your pants in the ring?
No, but I tore both my quads.
That's what I want. I would choose Vince McMahon if I had a choice.
Yeah. All right, let's see. The last one is from DTF Abel. If you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice right before your debut, what would it be?
So when I first heard this, I took it as your debut, like just to start your career, not your first match, not like your debut. Hey, you're about to go through the curtain for your first match. What do you want to tell yourself? I didn't take it that way. I took it as in like, what would you tell yourself leading into this career? You're just starting, so all the mistakes haven't been made yet. And for myself, so anyone out there who has just debuted, like Fab, who was on yesterday, or DTF, who just debuted as well and is still very early on into his career, I would say the advice I would give someone in that position is to just train everywhere you can. Mike is still doing it to this day, where he's trained at Evolve, New Japan, Ring of Honor, even though he had to pay for some of these seminars, and that's not popular with some people, paying to do these big seminars and these tryouts. It gets you seen, you meet people, people talk, you see people all over the place. So I would say train everywhere, and then also just work everywhere. Work as many places as you could. I think I mentioned on an earlier episode as well, I didn't know that you were supposed to do that. I thought like your home, I thought your home promotion, it was like WWE versus WC or WWF versus WCW. I was under the impression like, oh, you're loyal to them. Those are your guys. No one's smarting me up to shit. On top of that, if you're newer and you're only a fan of WWE and AEW, something that I didn't know, actually, this is probably the biggest one. You need to ingrain yourself in indie wrestling culture. You need to learn indie wrestling culture, learn the promotions, learn the wrestlers, who's good. It's great to watch the WWE and AEW and New Japan and all this. But you need to know who you're going to be seeing on shows, who you're competing with, who are guys who are, when someone's paying their money to come see, $25 for a show, what are they expecting? What is considered good? Because what you considered good in the Attitude Era, or what you considered good when, John Cena was on top, because that was your childhood watching it growing up, is not necessarily what people are interested in on the indie circuit if you don't know about the indies. For myself, that was me 100%. Didn't know shit about indie wrestling. I didn't know it existed. Yeah. I got into wrestling. I'd always wanted to be a wrestler. I got into wrestling as a high school project. They said the high school project, it was your senior project. You had to go to a college of your choice and, go on the campus and walk it and say why you wanted to go there and apply to it and all that. Or the other option was to job shadow a job that you wanted to do. So if you want to be an astronaut, go shadow an astronaut, or an Olympic gold medalist, go shadow someone who's a gymnast. And for me, I'm like, I don't know I can't job shadow a wrestler. So I guess I'm just going to go wrestle. So I went up and started training to be a wrestler. And that was it. I was 17 years old. It was, I started the day after Christmas. It was December 26th, 2004 was my first day stepping into a wrestling ring. Holy shit. Long time ago. But at the time, again, didn't know anything about indie wrestling. And it was also very hard to find information. This is still during tape trading days or DVD trading. This isn't when, YouTube was popping off yet. There was no IWTV. Wasn't very many streaming services or platforms that I'm aware of. You sure as hell there wasn't a network or anything like that. No Fight TV. So if you wanted to be ingrained in it, you had to get out and go to shows locally. And people would say that all the time. Go to this show, go to that show, go check it out, go see what I didn't give a shit. I'm like, why am I going to drive 2 hours away and spend $15 to get in? I'm not going to fucking do that. Go do that.
That's the only information you're getting about shows back then. Is just people
telling
you, hey, go to this show. You're like, I don't know shit about this show. Like,
absolutely. Because I was down in San Diego, I was training in LA. And they'd say, hey, go to this company show. It's on Saturday. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not driving up there on a Saturday. I was training in the very beginning, 2 days a week up in LA after school and shit. Drive up there, go train, get home at like midnight, go to work or go to school the next day. Yeah, man. And then I started training in Oceanside where Nestor is, who you guys mentioned on the pod, SoCal Crazy, you guys mentioned on the podcast. Trained lucha with him for a long time. He became my sole trainer for a while after that promotion had shut down, that school had shut down. So yeah, man, you have to ingrain yourself into indie wrestling. Really focus on indie wrestling. It's great to have a love and affection and appreciation for, all the mainstream outlets. But if you're just starting, you're just debuting, fuck all that. There's time for it.
Yeah. And as much as this sucks to say, it's different now, but there is still a higher percentage that you're going to spend most of your career on those indie shows.
Oh yeah.
So you should probably make sure you don't burn any bridges in that realm.
Right. Yeah. That's what I would do, man. I would, those things, all of those things. Okay. You got another question for me?
Do you want me to ask Petey's question?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, you asked for it. So Petey asks, if you could add a 0 to the end of anything on your life, what would it be? For example, if you could currently only bench 150 pounds, adding a 0 to the end would make it 1,500 pounds.
Right, got that. So
math.
I actually thought about this question when it came on, and I was like, I want to give a good answer, not just because he is bullshit questions, as you all just saw. He can currently lift 15 pounds and thought, well, if I could bench another 0 at the end of that, holy shit, I'd be benching 150. And then he said, let me ask the Hogs what they think. By the way, is this segment called Ask the Hogs? I don't know. Okay, so I did think about this, and it was something that would be impactful. If I could add a 0 to anything in my life other than bank account, it would be to the amount of matches I've had with Kota Ibushi. I've had one match with Kota Ibushi, all right, in Fuji. I think it was Fuji, in Fuji, Japan. And it was like one of the crazy DDT outside, fucking fireworks in there, flips off of trucks. 10 matches with Kota Ibushi. Because look, if I'm having 10 matches with Ibushi, that means I earned them. And if I had 10 matches with Ibushi, that means I'm also wrestling out there to have those 10 matches. No one's wrestling 10 matches in a row with Ibushi. So I'm out there for at least probably a 2-year tour if I've got 10 matches with him. It was either that or add a 0 to the amount of matches that I've had in DDT. So I think I had, 8 or 10 matches in DDT. So add a 0, 80 or 100 matches in DDT. That's a pretty fucking successful run out there, man.
Very good. So you want as many matches with Kota Ibushi as Dominic has had matches, period.
Yes, exactly. And, who'd he ever beat? That's what I want to know. That's the real question.
Murphy.
I actually heard, I know. I heard the circle jerk you guys had where it went around and, I think Hunter's like, I beat Devin on I beat Devin on Hollywood. And I'm like, I think he said Hollywood. I'm like, motherfucker, no, you didn't. I never lost to him on Hollywood. I don't think I ever wrestled him on Hollywood. Where did I wrestle him? Huh?
Maybe you did.
I don't think he said. Oh, he said champion.
Hollywood.
He said championship.
I didn't even know.
I think I wrestled Devin on championship. Oh, you know what? I wrestled him at SoCal Pro.
That's what I think he said.
I think okay. Maybe he had the championship.
No, you and Mike are 1-1, so you got to have that. That
he said I wrestled him for the championship. That's what he said. Okay, now I remember. All right. So he's not wrong. Hunter's not wrong. So Hunter has beat me, which is pretty fucking significant. But I beat myself all the time. So that's not. That came out wrong. No, that came out right.
Podcast is called the Hogsman Podcast.
It is called the Hogsman Podcast. Well, that's it. I'm going to wrap this up for now. You have any other questions?
Nope.
No more questions. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, in that case, the ref just gave us the signal there. Time to go home. So, duck the clothesline. Schoolboy, let's go home.
Yes.
The end.
No, you gotta come on. You can't just
it
like that. No.
That's it.
You gotta come up with a sign-off line. You gotta figure this out.
Duck the boys' school.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, do it again so all the kids out there can hear the catchphrase and learn.
Oh, it's not a catchphrase. It's just how we're just gonna go home that way. What did I even say?
I don't know, brother. You gotta tell me.
I said the ref got the signal, and it's time to go home. Duck the clothesline.
We'll say it with a little vim and vigor for the end.
Oh, for fuck's sake! All right, here we go. Ready?
This is my rib on you.
This is your rib on me. This is fucking terrible listening, by the way. I guarantee that. This is for the greenhorn in the ring. All right, brother. The ref just got the signal. It's time to go home. Duck the clothesline. Hit the schoolboy. Let's go.
Goodbye, everybody.